I'm here with Ron, who is the CRO of Databricks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Yeah.
My fellow Arizonan guy.
That's right.
I got some fun questions for you.
Okay.
Ranging from more about the AI space to questions around your sales experience.
Okay, love it. Yep.
Right now in AI,
Yeah.
like LLM models, those
Yeah.
that are creating it, there's a lot of cash burn right now.
Yeah, 1000%.
Yeah. So at the same time, there's a big push for organizations to incorporate AI more and more into their workflows.
Yep.
So then from a business perspective, for those
Yep.
that are making those investments into AI,
Yep.
how did you think they should reconcile that balance between the push for AI and perhaps
Yeah.
the concern that in the future, that they build a foundation on something that, can be costly potentially?
Yeah, no, great question. First off, I think we're still early in this tech revolution, right? I think this is the biggest tech revolution in the history of mankind, honestly. But a lot of enterprises, they started with experimentation. Now, there's massive spending going on, especially in the coding space. But the future, I think, is how do these enterprises, these companies, apply AI, give it AI the context of their data, right? And so, my biggest thing, and because it's a CEO level topic for every one of these companies, is let's start talking about outcomes. So a lot of what we're talking to customers is about what are we trying to automate, or what revenue are we trying to grow? Let's talk about the business outcomes of how you transform your company or industry and apply AI to that. And I think in that context, we'll see prioritization around how you adopt AI. Obviously, some of the business cases are phenomenal in different industries.
Agreed. Yeah.
I also think competition is going to ramp up in the LLM space. We already see it with some of the open source models.
Plan and then the others, yeah.
Exactly. And so, we released Unity AI Gateway, allows you to manage costs, has all the governance, you model optionality. It's all about cost, control, and choice for these model providers. So I think, in general, they're not going to go, hey, I'm going to go all in, spend my entire budget on one model. It's going to be a more diverse set of options in the future. So
yeah, and honestly, the AI Gateway is probably one of the features that I saw the most amount of excitement during the summit, because when I would ask customers of Databricks at the conference, I would just be like, hey, what's your favorite part? What's your least favorite part?
Yeah.
Their least favorite part, actually, or I should say, what's the biggest organizational problem you're going through right now?
Mm-hmm.
It had nothing to do with Databricks. Everything was we just don't have control around our AI spend.
Yeah.
And hence the influence for this question. And then I would, a big part of the talk during this week was around the AI Gateway. So it's kind of nice to see Databricks' approach to that transparency and governance around the AI spend.
Yeah, I know, lots of excitement around that. Obviously, there's a lot of excitement around a bunch of the different releases we did, but Unity AI Gateway is incredible for all, that specific issue I see in the market.
So Databricks partners with the hyperscalers.
Yep.
You have very good relationships with them.
Yep.
On the other hand, you also compete with the hyperscalers.
Yep.
How, from a sales perspective, what does that dynamic look like, and how do you make those determinations as to we're going to partner with them, and at the same time understanding that we're also going to compete with them?
Yeah. Well, listen, I think we want to provide our customers with choice. So we integrate with absolutely everything, especially on the Microsoft side. And ultimately we want to give the customers the best experience. And so that means giving them choice, right, for different and try to meet them where they're at in terms of what products they're using. Obviously, I would love them to use everything from Databricks, but in general, that's not necessarily realistic for a lot of these customers. So, we integrate, like, for example, Genie integrates with Copilot and Teams and Foundry. And so we go to market with Microsoft for AI to be able to provide that for our customers. Same thing on the AWS side. We integrate with the entire ecosystem, right? And so those integrations and how we give customers choice, I think, is really how we go to market. And so, our biggest customers are driving massive spend in the cloud. And so, we tend to be the number one partner of those companies as well.
What is the hardest decision that you've ever had to make as a CRO?
Oh, wow. It's usually, like, the toughest decisions aren't like strategy decisions, they're personnel decisions, right? I think the hardest part, I've been here 10 and a half years. So when I joined, we're less than 1 million.
That's crazy, man.
Growing, greater than 80% year over year. I think the toughest decisions are, like, sometimes when you look at leaders, they might have been amazing for the stage you were at, like for, building, say, a particular region. This leader did a great job getting you to 100 million, but they might not be able to get you to 1 billion. And so assessing that, a lot about that is about, like, and how do you layer leaders or replace leaders, even though they're amazing, like, helped you build the company. You know what I mean? And so for me to continue to grow, I have to continue to build and grow my leadership and hire the best of the best leaders. I think that's the hardest part about scaling as a CRO is, sometimes you created these companies with these amazing leaders, and they're good friends, but you need to bring in bigger scale or bigger leaders to go to the next step. I think that's the hardest part of being a CRO.
How do you manage to keep the culture, though? If obviously there's going to be good parts of the culture from the early days. There's going to be bad part or things that are no longer applicable from the early days.
You know what? Like, our culture has been pretty consistent from the beginning. Like, one of the reasons I came to Databricks is I wanted to create the sales culture from scratch. Like, Ali and I talked early days. Like, we have a very engineering tech culture here at Databricks, and I've kind of built that in sales too. Like, I'm an engineer as background, and we have a very technical sales team. But the culture, I talked from the beginning about hard work and grit. I tell stories about my dad was a construction worker. My mom was a math teacher. My dad said, out hustle everyone. So, hard work and grit. We talk about teamwork makes the dream work, courage and humility. And so those cultural aspects of how we built the sales organization are still there today. And I still look at leaders and I talk about it. Every sales kickoff, every sales all hands, we give out those awards. Like, keeping that culture is so important as you scale, because I don't know everybody personally anymore. And but if you have the right leaders and you hire the right people and you motivate them, you inspire them, and we have the right cultural principles and we believe in those things together, like, I think we have one of the greatest go-to-market teams on the planet.
So more along those lines, how do you keep that startup level hunger? That you have to survive when you're going from that 0 to 1 or that 0 to 100. How do you keep that startup level hunger going out to your point where you don't know everybody? Like, how do you stay hungry?
Dude, that's so key to how you continue growth as a company. Like, my goal is, like, continue to double every year, right? And the key to that, like I said, having the right leaders and the right people, the right culture, but keeping that startup, again, grit. I talk about grit so much, is like, hustle and grit. Like, I look for that in my account teams, in my solution architects, in my leaders. You have to keep that culture and that hunger. Because once you start to become complacent and become a big company, that's when, listen, Databricks came from nowhere in 10 years, right? That's where these companies are, becoming billions, trillions of dollars in a very short amount of time. And so keeping that startup grit and culture is so important. And I think a lot of that's about just like, again, cultural principles, leadership, the type of people you hire. I'll interview folks. I want to learn about like their childhood, their background. Like, I love people that have, done things that, even if it's outside of work, like amazing, and had to, really dig deep to do that, right? Sports or other parts of their life. And I think, making sure you continue to have that gritty startup culture is absolutely key to continue to be a high growth company. So.
Well, and from what I understand too, from conversations with Andrew Ferguson too, is like, I think that those are some of the key things that you also apply even when you do your acquisitions and all that, people that have seen great.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. And that's what we say, like, has this person seen great? I mean, a lot of our acquisition strategy is very, it's a lot about the team. Obviously we're trying to buy great products and people and engineering talent. But a lot of it's about the team, like how do they mesh with our leadership and engineering team. And, we have an absolute crazy innovation factory now, and we just want to be able to, supercharge that every time we acquire a company. So
awesome.
Yeah.
You vet, or at least review, the profile for every person that is about to get a job at Databricks, right? That's on the sales side, right?
Yep, every single one. So, I mean, I don't interview them personally, right? Like, I mean, obviously we standardize like how we do interviews and the process and the types of things we look for, but I literally look at every single profile for, obviously I'm pattern matching on, what's kind of the right profiles that I think fit at Databricks. And, if I don't think it's perfectly right, I ask a lot of questions. So, again, I think keeping the bar high, number one thing I would say is like, if you have the best of the best people on the bus and in the company and you inspire them and motivate them, like, you can do amazing things. So like keeping the bar high is super, it's like number one thing for me. So
how do you personally use Databricks to run your organization?
Yeah, no, great question. So I literally run our whole business on Databricks on Databricks. I have Genie on my phone. I use it like 20 times a day. Like I can ask it any question about our business. It helps me prep for meetings or for interviews. If I'm going to Germany, I'll ask like, what are the top customers in Germany? What are the biggest churn risks? What kind of pipeline campaigns should we be running to build pipeline? We built, we call it go-to-market hub. So we have all of our customer data in our lakehouse, and we've used Databricks apps and AI BI connected to Genie, and I run my entire forecast. We can forecast revenue within 1 or 2%. Everyone in sales logs into go-to-market hub to view their customer data. We're doing recommendations for customers. Here's kind of the next best use cases you should be selling to those customers. Here's kind of we have a lakehouse score, shows like, how different products are being adopted inside of those customers. So literally, if you think about, we're a data and AI company, right? So I use that every single day to run my business, and every salesperson at Databricks has Genie on their phone. They can demo it to customers at dinner. I think Genie will be the enterprise app for all these companies, and it should be in every employee's phones in all these companies. So
yeah. Oh, and I'll add a point to that. Like I remember one time I was talking with David Meyer, and he made some claim about something, and in my head I was a little like, okay, I'm a little skeptical. And then he shows me, like, he pulls it up. It's like, I was like, oh no, you really are on top of it, just using your own, what's it? What do you call it? Eat your own dog food, or
eat your own dog food. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, totally. Like, listen, I was just looking at, obviously Genie's a big push for us. And so I'll ask Genie, like, okay, show me Genie adoption in Australia. And, and I'm like, well, what campaigns should we be running? Which customers should we be working with to increase Genie adoption? It's amazing. It does research for you. It'll build models, does predictions, does recommendations, launches agents. It's pretty incredible.
There are a lot of partners in the Databricks ecosystem. whether we're talking about consulting companies or ISVs.
Yep.
A lot of folks trying to get in with Databricks.
Yeah.
What separates the great ones from the rest?
Yeah, I mean, first off, like we built an amazing partner ecosystem because, again, it gets back to like customer choice and how do we help customers transform their companies. And we can't just do that with Databricks, right? So like, I'll start with the SIs. Like we have amazing partnerships with lots of the global SIs like Accenture and Deloitte and Capgemini. But we've also built out a really strong ecosystem with, I would call it like our elite partners, right? So like companies like, you may or may not have heard of, but they have amazing expertise on Databricks, on AI, on data. Companies like Blueprint and Lovelytics and Tredence and Sellable Tech and Quantech, like they've built out expertise just around Databricks, so they can help those companies kind of go even faster. There's lots of on-prem data and Unity catalog and Genie workshops and AI agent build.
And right now, you just expanded this so much after this
Exactly.
summit. You just expanded into a lot of other fields. You got Lake Watch, you got Customer Lake. That's a new market for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so we need those partners to be able to help our customers adopt this technology. We have the best technology in the world. We need amazing partners to help all of our customers get that, full value of that, right? And then on ISVs, like same way, like we integrate to so many partners. Our built-on partnerships are amazing. So many different ISVs in the ecosystem because, customers make choices as they, again, continue to transform. We can't be everything to all customers. And so making sure we can integrate with all those other types of ISVs is really important. And then last, like on the, kind of cloud and bigger partners, we have first party agreement with Microsoft. We integrate with everything. I mean, Genie integrates with Copilot and Teams and Foundry and AWS. We run on Google Cloud. Obviously, we have relationships with OpenAI and Anthropic. And so again, our goal is how do we help these companies transform and using AI and data? And we have more enterprise data under management than any company in the world. And so how do we make it easy with partners to connect AI to your data and get insights out of that? So that's our mission, and partners are incredibly important to do that.
When it comes to Databricks, what keeps you up at night? And on the flip side, what do you wake up excited about in the morning?
Oh, well, I mean, what keeps me up at night is your earlier question, right? How do I continue to scale this amazing company? I mean, this will be $1 trillion company. But what keeps me up at night is how do I continue to scale and add great people to this company and keep the same culture, right? Like that's the biggest thing I think about. Like all the things we're doing in tech and AI is incredible. I mean, obviously the space is innovating faster than ever. So like, I'm sure there'll be new competitors. The space is rapidly evolving. I mean, the cost of creating software will go to zero, right? So there's going to be massive change in this space. But what I know is if we have the best of the best, the smartest, hungriest people and great culture, we will ultimately win. And so that's the biggest thing I think about. What gets me excited is I mean, it's absolutely incredible. This space, this company. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime company. Like just at this event, I mean, we had 32,000 people. It was amazing. Like the innovation. And, I meet with all these customers and partners and they're all in on Databricks. Like they understand the way to really get value from AI for your company is it has to have the context. You have to connect it to your data. It has to be governed. You have to have lineage. You need all the things that we're building. Genie, they're excited about Genie. They're excited about Lakebase. They're excited about Unity AI Gateway. Like Omnigent was incredible. I don't know if you saw that, but like,
yes,
it's
awesome.
I mean, anything Matei builds is incredible, but like,
he's a brilliant guy.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So, I wake up every day and I think we're so lucky to be in this space, helping transform and change the world. I met with, a bunch of customers, obviously hundreds of customers this week. And in healthcare, like literally companies are using data and AI to solve pancreatic cancer and help teens at risk. And like, it's just like amazing for me to see like what the future will be with AI. And Databricks is right at the center of it. And I just wake up every day just, feeling grateful for, the opportunity we have and so passionate about it. And this week just gets me even more energized. So it's a super fun week.
If you were leading a SaaS company today that is outside of the realms of Databricks, how would you face the AI disruption, how pricing models have changed and all that stuff?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously that's a hot question right now, for sure. I mean, listen, it's a little bit of innovator's dilemma, right? Like these companies have built super valuable companies, but I do believe most apps will get recreated using vibe coding, using AI, using agents. I mean, more agents will start hitting these platforms than humans, right? And so you have to disrupt yourself. Like one thing Databricks does really well is we're constantly disrupting ourselves, right? Like, because if you don't disrupt yourself, if you don't change your pricing model or, change your products or change how you develop or change how you address customers, like all those things, we're innovating in GTM as much as we are in product. You have to disrupt yourself. So, whatever worked in the past, like, I mean, listen, these companies aren't going to go away. They have massive data, massive customers, long-term contracts. But how do you use that to reinvent yourself, reinvent your products, reinvent your sales team, reinvent your pricing model? That type of change needs to, you want to go through that and disrupt yourselves, or else you'll be disrupted, right? So, I mean, that's what I would try to do. It's not an easy, it's easy to talk about it. I mean,
that's why most startups fail.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what I would do. I just, it doesn't really matter what happened in the past. We have to start looking at the future and how do we disrupt ourselves.
So. Renters do every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so very much for your time. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you.
You.